Test, test. 1, 2, 2. Test, test. Alrighty. Looks like we might be getting some volatility today. Make sure I've got everything working here. Get some 10:30 news, but it's pretty light. What was that? PPI at 8:30? Yeah, that pushed us lower by a lot. Big selling down there. Big buying above us. Anything else weird going on? Pretty big buying at that level. Also some buying at that level. All right, I think that's good enough. Got a pretty good idea of what to expect. Nothing too crazy. And let's try to focus on some good setup quality today. That's kind of the name of the game. I really want to nail those gap jump trades as well as those pullbacks. Just try to follow the trend to today. Oh. 5 seconds till the open. Pretty big volatility. Lots of price expansion here in the open. About a 5-point move to the downside. There's a little bit of buyer interest down here. Might pulse check along at 24. And that would be coming back on me. I think that would be a loss right there. We're coming down into that prior selling area here at 20. That's either going to attract more selling or buyers could reinitiate here for the short squeeze upward. There's the test at 20s. If they were going to put in a defense, this would be the area to do it down here. You can see it is attracting some sellers. We have 107 lot up there. Still nothing too major. Some pretty big selling coming in on the tape there. Getting absorbed. I'm pretty happy with that absorption. I'm going to try the 1925 long. See if we can accept up into that reclaim. I think it's worth the probe. Nice little jump up here. I think it could pull back, attract more buyers. And I ideally would like to see 22s out of this for the reclaim trade. No real guarantee that's going to happen. I just think it's worth the probe. I think the risk to reward is nice on this one. Took my stop. That's all right. I think it was a good attempt. Could still potentially be a retest here. I'm going to try to 1850 long, but I won't attack it more than that. Trapped seller at 20, which is good. Another big seller came in there. I just don't want to see it reverse off this level. I want to see that seller get trapped up there. And if that's the case, I could see a very clean move up to 22s there. 2250 preferably. I'm liking these little pullbacks here. Each time it pulls back, it's attracting buyers. Again, nothing's 100% win rate. It could still reverse down with trapped buying, but it is adding a little bit of confirmation to my trade, at least for now. Bit of a pullback here. The potential for a failed reclaim is definitely here, so I want to be cognizant of that. I don't want to see this except below 18. I think below 18 we start to get into another low node to the downside, which could potentially work against me. We attracted a bunch of selling here, which could be a good thing if we start to trap those sellers. I just don't want to see sellers defending here. Right now, they look pretty weak, and we are getting acceptance upwards, but if we start rejecting hard off of them, I might have to flat key the trade. Yeah, and that's pretty hard rejection, so I'll take the stop on that one there. 2 losses off the rip, first 5 minutes. That's usually how it goes, trading the first 5 minutes of the session. But the risk to reward on those were really good, in my opinion. So I'm not too beat up about it. I think my heart rate's still pretty manageable right now. That being said, I am pretty confident we're in a downtrend, so I'm now looking for shorts. I think if buyers were going to defend, I think that would have been it right there. So I could foresee a downtrend today. Could be a defense here at 1475. Pretty light below. I'll try the short. Just get a few ticks out of it. Nice 5-tick win there. I believe there could be a short jump up into this low gap, but I'm not going to attempt to chase it. They could be putting in another defense of 1475. Let's try it. Missed the entry there, but the idea technically worked. I would have gotten about a point out of it. We are starting to get a bit of a balanced auction here. The potential for a reversal is still very low at this point, but it is worth keeping in mind. I might have to be a little bit more conservative on my short trades. Pretty heavy selling down here. If they can get above 1225 and accept higher, I think there could be a shove up um, for a long trade potentially. It looks like a lot of these buyers are getting absorbed. I'm going to try the long at 12 even. I'll chase by a tick. I really felt like I should have got filled on that one, but I didn't, which is unfortunate. Try the pullback long, 1275. Defense of 1175, which is nice. Nice little shove upwards. And this is that area we were running into trouble before, so I'm going to try to work the exit here for 5 tick profit. Try to get out for a 2 tick loss. Unfortunately, that one came back on me. I should have taken that at the high of the range, but a 2 tick loss is still pretty manageable. We are putting into defense down here again. It's kind of aggressive for me to long down here, but I think it's worth the probe. We do seem to be slip ranging a little bit. Took the stop on that one as those buyers got absorbed. Still buyer absorption. And there's another light down. Still pretty thick above us. There's this low node around 13s that I want to try to go for. We do have some buyer support here at 1150. I want to see us defend 1150s with more buying. It looks like we are. Structure high 1450. That's going to be my hard target. Order in at 1450 and got the fill. So that helped me eliminate, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. I got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 tick win. So 4 tick profit on that trade. We are now starting to put in some pretty thick buying. I don't have any big buyers I can lean on quite yet, though, so I'm just going to have to wait for this trend to establish a little bit better. Do have a pretty thick area down here at 1575. I'll try to get the fill for the long. See if I can get the microstructure high. Come down and take my stop. So not quite thick enough. It's got to thicken up a little bit more for me to take those pullback trades. 100 lot at 14. I'll put in a try too long, flat key it there on that volatility spike. And that volatility spike did bring me back above the loss that I took earlier, but by 3 ticks. Kind of got a bad fill on it, though. I do wish I filled closer to 18s on that flat key, but point of a flat key is to just get me out in volatility. I do not want to sit around and find out when a volatility spike comes in like that, especially because Rhythmic sometimes struggles processing all that data. We are retesting a pretty thick area, but that volatility spike does kind of throw things out of whack. There was a big liquidation up there, so it could continue to trade lower. I tend to not to trade pullbacks after a really volatile move like that, just because it does kind of change the behavior of the order flow. That being said, we are putting in a pretty good defense. There is some decent confirmation of buying here. Let's see if we can accept above 1450. That looks like pretty good acceptance. So I'll try the long 1475. I am kind of slip against on this entry, which might work against me, but let's see if we can take back these thin little orders above us. I'm eyeballing 1625 for target. Still some decent buying. Does seem to be running into trouble here though. So I'm going to try and work the exit. Tried to get 2-tick loss, but unfortunately took the 6-tick stop. Pretty big change in character here if we can't take this area back. Could be a test of 1125 here. We do have some pretty big orders there. I'm looking for acceptance above 1125 into the reclaim. There it is, long 1125. But then it's going to suck right back down, unfortunately. I do think my stops might need to be a little wider today with the increased volatility. A lot of selling down here as we hit the new low of day. There is a pretty decent low note above us. I'll see if I can get a shimmy back long. Maybe 875. I'll try 9 even long, but that's going to come right back, unfortunately. So we are in a downtrend. I need to be aware of that fact. I have been putting in a lot of long trades here. We do have a really nice low note above us that I'm going to try and catch. 750 long. Got the fill. Yeah, and I am fighting a trend. I do not want to be doing that today. So let's try to calm down here, refocus, recenter on what the price action is currently doing. We do still have a long way down as far as next levels of support. So if today is short biased, don't try to fight that. Don't try to out rationalize the market. Another sharp move down. Lots of selling down here. A lot of volume too. Makes me wonder if there could be a capitulatory move. We do have the psych price going for us here. A lot of these late sellers are getting absorbed, which I like. Nice move up into all these reclaims. I have a really nice low node reclaim above us at about 8. I think if this move truly is capitulatory, we could see a move into that reclaim up there. I'm going to take a partial off here, still holding 2 lots long. And see if we can get into that low node up to 875. I think 875 would be my final target here. I'm going to see how price reacts to 875, see if we stop here or go through it. We have a level up here at 9. I want to see if they can blast through those. They're definitely testing them. Looks like a defense. Took the last 2 off there at 725, and I believe I'm flat. That was quite a big trade, and that did bring me back roughly to break even on the day. That being said, though, I don't want to sit here and keep attacking, trying to get back above break even. So I might just take a super quick break, walk away from the screens for a minute, and come back with fresh eyes, see if this reversal really is a reversal or if we're just faking out. So All right, so this does look like a pretty genuine reversal. Lots of long bias here. We are printing a lot of nice high nodes for me to lean on. So let's see if we can get something to work. Current pullback area, I'm looking at 1350s. But this looks pretty strong as we head up into that prior selling area. Here's my 1350. I'm going to chase by 2 ticks, but I don't really want to chase much higher than that. See if we can put in a defense at this level. Looks like we are. I'm going to take that for a pretty conservative 5 ticks. Or 6 ticks, actually. A little bit of volatility hitting the tape here, and sellers do appear to be stepping in. So where I would have liked to hold for like 1650, I think it's probably a pretty good idea to be conservative here. We are putting in a really thick red area up here. I haven't noticed if we've been taking those back or not, so I'm just going to proceed with caution here. I have seen instances where these red areas turn into resistance, but at the same time, they could just get absorbed by strong buying. Let's see what happens. Looks like they did defend that area. They could have potentially been a long down there at 1350, but again, I'm just being a little bit more conservative here. Nice little buyer defense. I might try the 13 long. 1325 fill. See if they defend. They are struggling a little bit. $14.75 target. Flat key it there at 15 for a nice 9-tick win, or sorry, 7-tick win. I'm just gonna grab a glass of water real quick. I don't really see any opportunity in this area, at least for now. All right, up and away, still trading up. The auctions do look a little bit more balanced up here. Doesn't mean we won't keep trading up, but it just means that I've got less pullback areas to work with. I really wouldn't be interested in a pullback until this level here at 14s. Pretty nice defense there. I'll bid 1475 for a pullback. Got the fill. I'm going to try to take this off for a point just because it looks like buyers or sellers are defending pretty aggressively here. I do think there could be a full take back of this reclaim, but this is kind of no man's zone up here. Pretty balanced selling. So I'll take a conservative 4 ticks. There's nothing wrong with taking 4 ticks. Looks like we are running into some resistance here at 18. Sellers are trying to defend this area, but they could get squeezed. Bit of a pullback here. As we could press higher. Still not a lot for me to lean on to though, because if I went long right here at 1650, it's just nothing below me. It could suck back down in a heartbeat. So while I do think there could be a breakout above this 18 level, I just don't have a whole lot to lean on. There's the breakout. Let's see if it's sustained or not. Bit of a defense here at 17, but again, it's just so empty below us. I could see it sucking back to 14. There is a bit of a defense at 14, so I could see a potential long down there. But that looked like it was too shallow. I didn't quite get the pullback I was looking for. Do have a bit of a defense at 1550. And orders are getting pretty thick up here. Could potentially be a long 16. I'll try it. It is pretty risky though, because again, we do have that low node below us. It could suck into. And it looks like it is going to accept into that low node. It's getting pretty grindy down here. There's a little bit of acceptance high. I would like to get the structure high out of this if it does work, but honestly, this does look like it's accepting against my entry pretty hard. So try to work the exit for a point. Took a stop there. I was trying to get out for a break even, but unfortunately, these kind of trades, once they put in that spike to the upside, they come back pretty quick. So while the idea did technically work, the execution was just really hard to pull off there. I would have had to have a resting order up there at 17s in order to get filled. We are putting in another defense down here, and I do have nice slip favor down here at 15s. So I'm going to try bidding 1575 for the long, but it looks like that one is already gone, so I'll pull that order. I'll count it as good read though. The trade did play out as I expected it to. Just a bit of flawed execution, which is fine. You're not going to nail every one of them. The system itself is working though. Another test of the highs. I think there could be a pullback down to 15s again, in which case I would be interested in a long. I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive here and try 1650 long. I think the fact that we're compressing into a breakout area kind of warrants some aggressiveness. But that, of course, does not mean that the trade is going to work. I'm kind of in the middle of the profile here. If this range was a volume profile, I'd kind of be at the point of control, which isn't ideal. But I think the risk to reward does kind of justify it. Take a stop here. I do think there's a try to if we defend 14s. So there's the test of 14s. And that looks like a pretty good defense. So I'm going to try the 15 long. A little bit better risk reward here because I'm risking the bottom of this high node and I'm shooting for the breakout. I want to see 19s, ideally. Again, doesn't mean it'll work. Nothing's 100% win rate. But this time I do have the range advantage, so a slightly better risk to reward. Nice acceptance up. We're still at the point of control. I want to see us break through. Pretty nice move up. We're continuing to defend with more buying. Here comes the test of 19s. I'll take a 2-lot out here and see if we can get a breakout above 19s. Take the rest out there. Another really nice win. I took it out where I did because I saw a lot of really aggressive buying coming in. And when really aggressive buyers come in, there is potential for a short squeeze. And that is exactly what's happening. Or, sorry, a long squeeze, buyer squeeze. So when I see a breakout like that, I want to see steady, calm buying. But when it gets super aggressive and a bunch of rapid buying comes in, there's a chance that they're going to get squeezed, and I do not want to be a part of that. You can see I pretty much nailed the short-term top. Doesn't mean it won't keep going. If it goes without me, that's fine, because I did get what I wanted out of the trade. I got the meat of the move. But still just worth mentioning why I took it out where I did. Buyers are still top heavy up here, so I'm not super interested in an aggressive long. It's very thin below us, which means it could just suck back down. But at the same time, we have so much reclaim above us that it could just skyrocket here. So too much of a coin toss. I'm not really going to attack this area. So pretty nice acceptance up here. I think there could be a potential pullback to 20. Let's see if we get a defense. That looks pretty good to me. I'll go ahead and try it. I do have a 19 level to fall back on. Looks like they might take it back, but let's see. It did overshoot a little bit more than I would have liked it to. So I'm going to be pretty conservative with my exit here. I'll try to get 2 ticks out of it. I do think it could go higher, but the fact that it pulled back so sharp on me means that it could pull back again, in which case I would take a stop. So if it gives me 2 ticks, I'll take 2 ticks out of it. We are also extremely thin on the bottom side of this range here, so if it breaks, it's going to break hard, and I don't want to be on the wrong side of that. It looks like we are breaking here. I don't have another support level at all, really, so this could potentially reverse. Do have a 72 here, but that's not really enough for me to lean on. The fact that it's so thin down here means there could be a reversal down. 163, which isn't bad, and I do have a 71 below. I'll try a 1750. The win rate on this isn't going to be great, but the risk to reward could be really good. I could potentially see 1950s hitting. So it's testing here, and buyers do seem pretty passive. Took the stop there. I think my sign to get out would have been that big buyer getting absorbed. There's a 93 here. Could potentially be a try two. But the moment that buyer gets absorbed, I'm going to want to get out of this trade. That 74 lot at 1625, I want to watch him like a hawk. And if he gets absorbed, I'm going to want to flat key this. Same as before, I'm looking at 1950 for a potential target. Maybe 1925 just to be a little bit more conservative. They are defending that 71 lot again. There is just so much selling going on micros that it might end up sucking the market down. He's still defending at 1625. NASDAQ is putting in a nice upward move. But if NASDAQ sucks back in, that could be trouble for this trade. There's the move up. Work the exit at 19. I'm going to chase by a couple ticks. I didn't really want to be in this much longer than I had to. It was getting pretty sketchy there. So took a 6-tick loss on the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-tick win on the way up. So roughly break even on that trade, especially when you factor in commissions. Could have got the original target of 1950, but like I said, it was getting a little squirmish there for me. No, we came up and bailed out these buyers up here. I'm not too interested in the long though because it's so thin below. It could suck back down really aggressively. I guess in the longer term picture, this is a really nice defense of this area. But I'm not really interested in the longer term, to be honest. I more so care about what the microstructure is doing. In terms of the microstructure, though, there is a really nice pullback to 2025 with a pretty clear defense below it. Let's see if we can get that pullback to work. Still grinding upwards. We're still pretty thin up here. I'm not really interested in any pullbacks unless we get to that 20 level, which seems pretty far away, but it's in this market, they do put in sharp moves like that, so worth looking out for. We are starting to build a new support here around 22s. But this thing does kind of look like it wants to run. I also don't want to see a bunch of trapped buyers when I go long. All right, another new support area around 25s. I could potentially see a pullback to 26.25 with a nice little defense area below it. But so far we have not gotten any pullbacks on this move, which is fine. I don't need to be a part of every move if this wants to run. Bit of an auction going on up here. Bit of trapped buyers up here at 31, but they're not super aggressive. Bit of a pullback down. I'm not too interested in it though, just because it's still super thin below us. Matter of fact, I don't really see any good pullbacks here until about 26. But by the time it gets to 26, it could be too late. They did put in a nice defense here, 29.25. But he's getting absorbed. He is now gone. Uh, 26.25 is kind of the magic number. That's where I would like to see this pull back to. We did put in a nice test of the 94 right there at 27.75, but I'm not quite convinced. I think this could pull back further. That was a pretty nice defense right there. I do have some nice buyers to lean on up here. I'm going to try 28 long. I'll chase by a tick, but I'm not really willing to chase more than that. Buyers do appear to be defending, but again, that could mean nothing. Nothing is 100% win rate. So took the stop there. Let's see if we get the test of 26s. That looks like it was it. I'm going to try to get a shimmy back long. 2750 is kind of the highest I'm willing to chase. If I don't get filled here, I'm just going to have to watch this one go without me. Yeah, and I'll pull that order. So I'll count that as good read. Just botched execution. I think I was a little too aggressive with my entry on that first trade there. A little bit of FOMO, I think, watching it put in a fake defense up here. But if I had waited for my more conservative entry down here around 27, that trade definitely would have worked. So just something to keep in mind. If I have a level I'm waiting for, just wait for the level. Don't chase it. Do have a nice defense area here at 28. pretty confident in this test here. Bit of an overshoot, which is fine. Looks like we did defend that with more buying. And let's see if we can come up out of this range here. Took the stop there. Could potentially be a try two. I'm going to try it 27.75 for the try too long. I definitely don't want to see buyers absorb down here though. Nice move up and out. Let's see if we can get some continuation up. Potential target would kind of be the top of this range here, around 30.25. It's right into a bit of trouble here. I don't see anything too alarming that makes me want to get out of the trade. They could want to pull it back one more time to test. Looks like they just did. I'm going to try a more conservative target here, 29.50. Got the fill. So let me just recap here. I think I did take 2 losses, unfortunately. 2 6-tick losses, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-tick win. So down about 5 ticks overall, trading this micro range. We are getting a pretty nice test of the lows again. Let's see if it holds. This 25 area does look like a bit of a fallback for me. So I'm going to bid 26.50 for the long. Got the fill. This does offer a much better risk reward because I would be looking at about 29.50 for an exit. But I am fighting the momentum here. So the win rate isn't great. You kind of have to trade win rate for risk reward. That's just the nature of trading. I do have the reclaim advantage, do have the range advantage. 29.25 looks like an excellent area for me to exit. Nice shove up here. I'm going to put in an offer at 29 just to stay a little bit more conservative. I'm going to chase by 2 ticks just because it's starting to run into trouble here. I do really want this trade to put me back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-tick win. So as long as my average win is larger than my average loss, which is roughly 6 ticks, then I consider that a really good trade. So I am not upset about that whatsoever. We are hitting top of the hour here. I feel some fatigue kicking in, so I'm going to go ahead and check P&L. Looks like we're up 100, so I think we drew down about 200 at one point, so still not quite positive on my daily risk to reward, but as far as my trade risk to reward, I think I'm doing really good. General observation I'm going to make about today is I should not be trading in the first 10 minutes. I think that is very evident in today's trading. Took two big losses right off the rip there, which put me behind on the day. Which if I had waited, I would pretty much be my P&L curve would be much more stable today. Let's go ahead and peek at the P&L curve, import my trades. Sierra chart, upload, set for today. And yeah, you can see there was quite a fair bit of P&L volatility here. Let's go ahead and screenshot that. And I'll oh man, yeah, I am tired. That really took a lot out of me. So while we're up 100 today, it was still quite a grind. Let me turn on left monitor here just so you can see. That's where we're sitting for the day. 26 trades, 46% win rate. But my risk to reward was 8.9 ticks on the win side, 6 ticks on the loss side. So sometimes that's what it comes down to. You got to sacrifice win rate for risk to reward. So I'm going to call my session there, jump into some review, and see if we can't replicate these results again on